attorney Vince Davis, and I'm on with attorney Michael Vasilento, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. Let's take another call right now, Michael. Let's talk to Rebecca from Minnesota. Rebecca, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
A question to ask.
Go ahead.
Okay, this started like almost 3 years ago. I got out of a very abusive relationship with my ex who was on illegal drugs and has like a number of mental illness. So for my safety, I left. And I went to my girlfriend's house. So I went through the CPS and, and they found me not a fit mom. I mean, I work for a school, a volunteer. It's a long story, but, so they tried me and said, if I didn't sign this contract, if they drew up and, that I would lose my parental rights. So, after fighting, going to work full time, doing everything, I have flying colors of every program that I went through. And, had other people say that, how wonderful I am and caring, that I wasn't violent, but they still didn't feel like I was a fit mom. But they automatically put my son in with my mother-in-law. And my ex signed off his rights, like right away, to his mom.
Okay.
We were fighting, or I was fighting to have him placed with me, and that was my mother-in-law, for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I got tired of it. I said, okay, fine, I'll sign this contract. I wasn't 100% with it, but I thought, well, maybe, it had, then I could have him visitations and all that. I have nothing. I get nothing. I barely get a text with my son. So my one question is, do I have to go through the same county to take it back to court to get my visitation back?
Hey, Michael, assuming she was in California, what would you tell her?
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's a California case because I can't advise. We're not allowed to give advice out of states that we're not licensed in. So I just want to make sure. Is it a California case, ma'am?
No, it's
it's Minnesota.
Minnesota, but assuming she was in California, what would you tell her?
Well, first of all, California has to have jurisdiction. So, but in California, I would say you'd have to go back to court if it was California, the case. You would go back to court and you would have to file appropriate paperwork. And assuming in California, have you done services or done anything they recommended?
Oh, yeah. I went through budget for psych spells, parenting class, anger management, everything.
Did you complete all of them?
Yep. The flying class plus more.
Well, then I would go back to court. Did you have an attorney?
Yeah, a court-appointed attorney. And in my opinion, she was just there, And, she didn't represent me at all. It was just the judge. The judge was kind of awful, in my opinion. I was like, and she's a woman's judge. I was surprised. I'm like, are you a mom? It's like, grandma, again, now my kid is being mentally and psychologically abused, and he has a track record because he's in 7th grade now. Like behaviors, we're talking 1 to 2 a day.
1 to 2 what a day?
What?
1 to 2 what a day?
Behaviors. Like where they track it on, like abusive language. Not.
Oh, I see. Okay. Michael, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So my main question is, do I have to go to, because none of us have lived in this county. I mean, I moved out of it, but they placed them about 3 counties away with my mother-in-law. And my ex went into drug treatment and then, halfway house and relapsed number of times. I established my own place. I've never been here. I live in a townhome where I deal with kids all day. I work at a school. I mean, I work with behaviors every day. Do I have to go through the same county when we're not even in that county?
I'd say typically you would have to. I mean, if you're in California, you would have to.
Yeah, and if you're in Minnesota, I would say I would talk to someone in Minnesota that does, an attorney in Minnesota that does these type of cases, these CPS cases. That would be my advice, private counsel. So are you visiting your son?
Nope. They have taken that all away in the contract. It's kind of a goofy contract. They said a counselor could take the visits away, and I've been talking with the counselor. I was like, "What did I do?" And he goes, "Well, the prior abuse." And I said, "Well, I've never been tried in doing physical abuse. I admit I slapped my kid once. Just a little slap on the mouth because, the F word was coming out of that kid's mouth, and he called me every female name. And I got out of the car because we had to travel, because I picked him up from school, and we had to travel about 45 minutes. I got out of the car, walked around the car, and finally, I guess the mother instinct just got the best of me. I asked him to be quiet a couple times, and I just kept
2 minutes.
saying, "I will not have you be swearing, calling me names." And so, but just never off the mark, just a quick slap in the mouth.
Hey, Rebecca, were your rights as a parent terminated, your parental rights?
See, I think they called it a voluntary, that I voluntarily agreed that he could live with my mother-in-law.
But was it through the termination of your parental rights or not? And if you don't know, that's okay. I'm just asking.
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I might still get rights to his medical records, to his school records. I get visitation.
Right. So it sounds like some type of legal guardianship, Michael, but Michael's right. You should be talking to an attorney that's in your area so that he or she can advise you on the different types of strategies you can take.
1 minute.
All right.
Yeah, because we cannot give advice in Minnesota, Mr. Davis and myself. We are not licensed in Minnesota, so we cannot advise as to Minnesota law. We're not allowed to. That's why I was saying, please find someone in your county that does this line of work. And I do agree with Vince. It sounds like it would be a guardianship in California, but I don't want to say how they do it in Minnesota. But I would talk to someone in the county in Minnesota, if that's where it was, that does either guardianships or CPS.
Hey, Rebecca, thank you for calling. Thank you for listening. We'll be back right after the news and these messages.